Hi, welcome to Dialed In Angling. I am your host, Tony Roach. Today, we are in search of perch. Perch are such a challenge on ice because they're always roaming, they're always moving, they're always feeding. Sometimes they're in 4 feet of water, other days they're out in 40. They can be in weeds, in rocks, in timber, and they're always on the move. I'll show you exactly how I go about drilling lots of holes and utilizing underwater camera technology to find these schools of perch and catch them. They're some of the most exciting fish you can catch on ice. You know, the first part of my equation into finding these jumbo perch is usually drilling a lot of holes. I spend a lot of time looking before I even decide to set up. This is a perfect spot. I've got a big expansive flat. We're almost a half mile off of shore right now. This is literally just one big sandgrass weed flat that dumps into deep water. I like that. We're not fishing right up on the edge. We're in from the edge a little bit, but we have access to deep water. But I always start shallow and work my way out. Now, I know underwater cameras have taken a back seat to forward-facing sonar, but when it comes to perch, because they're so tight to the bottom most of the times, I prefer an underwater camera. Underwater cameras have been around for 30 years. I'm a better angler as a result of underwater camera technology, but when it comes to finding fish, perch love the camera. They're curious, they come into it. It's a good sign. We're seeing perch in multiple holes. You know, what I like about the camera too is I can really tell size out here. You know, you can usually tell by that big fat belly on those big females versus the smaller kind of, I call them residents, but the residents perch that just kind of hang around these little weed patches. All right, so I'm just gonna drop a spoon down quick. I'm just gonna grab electronics and one rod, and I'm just gonna hole hop really quick before I set up any shelter. I wanna see how aggressive these fish are, first of all. Second of all, I wanna see the size structure of these perch. You know, where I'm fishing now, there's lots of perch, but I wanna see the size of them. I saw some really nice ones on camera. I just wanna verify that before I set up. There we go. See, that didn't take long. Nice fish too. See, when I'm hole hopping like this, I'm literally spending about 30 seconds per hole. I drop down. If I don't see a perch, I just simply move on. You know, that's why I like using spoons. I want to be able to get down there quickly, fish extremely fast. You'll know if they're in the area, if they're aggressive. That's a decent one. I want to see schools like that, those big fat bellies. Try to get down there as quick as possible before that school moves on. Boy, they are loving it. Nice fish too, good quality fish. You can see that big fat belly. I love perch fishing, man. Oh, nice looking fish. Oh, they're so aggressive. What I like about perch is when they're schooled up, it doesn't matter the temperature, what kind of pressure system you have, you can usually get them to bite all winter long. There's a ton of perch here. This is the exact spot I want to set up and fine-tune my presentation. Hey, you're gonna want to stay tuned because when we come back, we're gonna have more underwater technology and show you how I fine-tune put more and bigger perch on the ice.
Dialed In Angling, brought to you by Strike Master, Rapala, L&M Fleet Supply and DeWalt, and by Coors Light.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Dave's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.
The lakes are locked. It's time to unlock them. No matter your mode of transport, your quarry, it takes a hole. The right hole in the right spot at the right time.
Oh man, look at that.
You need dependable, abundant power to match your motivation.
Yeah, baby!
The elements are hard enough. Don't fight it. Arm yourself with the cutting edge of the cutting edge. Arm yourself with Strike Master.
When it's time to eat, the VMC Rattling Roach Spoon calls them in. The spoon's design entices fish by combining its intense fluttering action with an exposed rattle chamber for maximum vibration. The Rattling Roach Spoon comes in 16 different colors, including UV bright and ultra glow options. Every spoon includes a marabou teaser tail, which conceals a tack-sharp VMC treble hook. Call the fish to you with the Rattling Roach Spoon. See it all at vmchooks.com.
It's that time again, anglers. Winter is here, and L&M Fleet Supply is ready to make this your best season ever. Head on into your favorite Northland location and browse our extensive collection of DeWalt tools and accessories, all guaranteed tough. Cut through the thickest ice with DeWalt's 20-volt cordless hammer drill. Brighten up your setup with the DeWalt handheld portable LED light. And stay entertained with the DeWalt Bluetooth speaker, weather-resistant, rugged, and ready for any adventure. Find guaranteed tough DeWalt quality products at L&M Fleet Supply. Quality at a discount.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Dave's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.
Hey, welcome back. The wind has really picked up out here. We are in search of perch. We've landed on a great school of fish right now. If I pull the Ranger up, we're gonna block the wind. The wind's starting to pick up a little bit. It's getting colder out here. We're gonna flip open the shelter. We're gonna fine tune some presentations. I absolutely love chasing perch. I can't say it enough. They are by far my favorite species to catch in the winter. All right, I'm gonna get a panner on here. You know, it's important to have control over your camera while you're fishing, and panners are great options for that. I'm just gonna feed that through here, get this thing set up on the ice. I've actually got my screen on a smart hub so I can adjust it anywhere I want. And then of course, I'm still gonna put my sonar in my hole, and I'll show you why. And it has to do with these fish chasing baits up in the water column. If I get out of my viewing screen, I still want to be able to see that fish strike that bait. So let's start catching some more perch. Unreal. We have landed on them. Oh, unreal. I didn't even have time to react. There's just hundreds on the camera. You know, I have learned so much about fishing in general from underwater cameras, not just perch fishing, but perch fishing is so fun because, like I said, they're kind of attracted to the camera almost. They're really curious. They come in, you know, and depending on their mood, they can really help you with the bite as far as what you should be using, how you should be jigging. You know, it's always something. There's a good one. Oh, look at that. Now that is a nice perch anywhere you are in the Midwest. Oh, that is an absolute beauty. These guys push a lot of different fish around. You know, perch are a prey species, but once they get to this size, they can pretty much do whatever they want for the most part. I mean, they still have to kind of watch out for pike and muskies and that sort of thing, but they're king of the castle. It's amazing on camera. There was about 10 or 12 different perch on the screen, but when this one came in, boom, all of them took off. There's a nice big one. Usually those big ones, when they come in, they shoot in, they're aggressive. You could have a bunch of small ones on the screen, but as soon as these bigger ones come in, they just push everybody around. I think as a kid, you know, you start perch fishing. I remember my earliest years of perch fishing. with no electronics, obviously. Back then, we just kind of hit the bottom with the spoon. If you didn't catch one, you moved on. And then as I got older and I started utilizing technology like this, where you're utilizing an underwater camera, you learn to appreciate the fish themselves. And also, like I said, you become a better angler. You see what's working. You can watch their moods throughout the season. You know, it's interesting, like I said, how their food sources change. You're gonna wanna stay tuned, because when we come back, I'm gonna show you not only how I fine tune my presentations for perch as far as jigging, but also dead sticking perch and setting your dead sticks perfectly to make sure that you're getting the biggest perch possible.
All right, so Tony's already caught a pile of perch, but there are a couple things that stand out to me that I want to break down with you right now. First, you have to find the fish, and he mentioned fishing this shallow flat. Here's a classic example of a piece of structure that Tony is currently sitting on. We've got deep water right over here, same with up here, and then all through right in here, we've got just this big shallow flat of submerged weeds. Now when you show up, I like to just drill a line of holes, make an X like this, drill every 20, 30 yards, drop the camera down, and again, when you drop the camera down, the fish come to it, perch anyway. Walleyes, they're probably gonna go the other direction, but perch will swim to it. Look for 10, 15 seconds. If they're there, catch them. When they move, you move. All right, next, I wanna show you a classic situation here. Now, I'm gonna just pause this for a split second. Tony is going to raise this bait up in the water column. You can see we've got a couple of small perch right down there. But there's a big one that's lurking over here. When he raises this lure up in the water column, like you see right here, it's going to engage the larger fish. He keeps the lure up, he doesn't drop it down. In the wild world, food does not swim to be eaten, it tries to escape. It's natural to the fish. Tony shakes the bait right up here and triggers the big fish to strike. Watch this. Here he goes, down and up. Here it comes the big one. That is so cool. Holds it, shakes it, lifts it, it eats. Classic perch fishing right there. All right, head back out on the ice and see what Tony's up to next.
Dialed In Angling, brought to you by Strike Master, Sportsman's Guide, Devil's Lake, North Dakota Tourism, and by Skidoo.
The lakes are locked. It's time to unlock them. No matter your mode of transport, your quarry, it takes a hole. The right hole in the right spot at the right time.
Oh man, look at that.
You need dependable, abundant power to match your motivation.
Yeah, baby!
The elements are hard enough. Don't fight it. Arm yourself with the cutting edge of the cutting edge. Arm yourself with Strike Master.
More than 50 years ago, right here in Minnesota, Sportsman's Guide made a commitment to work hard and treat customers fairly while outfitting them for outdoor success. Today, Sportsman's Guide continues to grow, selling the world's top outdoor brands at the very best prices, and they ship right to your front door. They also support America's veterans, shooting sports, women in the outdoors, and your favorite conservation organizations. For all of your outdoor needs, trust Sportsman's Guide.
This winter, set a trap for your next trophy with iFish Pro. Ideal for all species, iFish Pro is an innovative fishing system that allows an angler to use their favorite rod and reel instead of trying to manage the fish hand over hand. Complete your ice fishing arsenal with iFish Pro, tactical ice gear that puts the fight back into tip-up fishing.
Look at that.
Find iFish Pro online at ifishpro.com or at your favorite sporting goods retailer.
At Otter, we are hole drillers, bacon cookers, cold gear campers, but most of all, we are people who enjoy being in the great outdoors in some of the coldest conditions on planet Earth. Crafted with a standard of quality you won't find anywhere else, we promise to always keep the quality you depend on and the innovation you have learned to expect. Otter, outdoors, for everyone.
Hey everybody, it's time to get you up to date on the area's hottest ice fishing bites. We are starting the holiday week in South Dakota where guide Marcum is on the road.
We got good ice out here. We're looking at 9 to 12 inches right now.
It sounds like a lot of people are catching perch, but even more are catching walleyes, and they're still shallow.
Yeah, the walleye bite's been really strong in our area. And yeah, they're still shallow. I'd say 10 to 15 foot would be a lot of them.
Now it's time to transition to northern Minnesota where we've seen about the best bite this season. Brian Beef Sather's on the bite, and it looks like you're stocking up.
I got to get to shore to get some of these lures. The rattler and roach spoon is on fire on Lake of the Woods right now, and the bite is incredible. 50, 60 fish over the course of a couple hours. Awesome fishing.
Next, moving down to Walker, Josh Bullivant, you're on the ice. What's biting?
We're chasing after perch today. The perch bite out on the up on Leech Lake's actually been really good during the daytime. Same up on Winnie. So out right now chasing some perch. We're out a little bit deeper than probably what you're used to on Leech Lake. We're actually out off the break lines on some of the mud transitions out here on our end of the lake, out in that 20 to 25 foot range. And then when I've been going off to Winnie, I've been out in like 10 to 15 feet during the day chasing the perch.
Let's transition to the Brainerd Lakes area where pro staffer Jamie Dittman just surveyed Mille Lacs Lake.
Yes, finally made it out on Mille Lacs, and mostly 10 inches of ice. There's a few pressure ridges. They're getting bridges out. It was very accessible by snowmobile and wheeler and side-by-side. We did get in some very nice perch. Biggest was 14-inch.
Finally, we head to North Dakota where Landon Blanchfield has the latest bite on Devil's Lake. What's happening there?
Hey there. Hey, it's just been another great cold week for making some ice. We're already up to 13 inches on the bay right in front of us here at Woodland Resort. Our first day of the season, we had a 7-year-old kid come out with his grandpa, caught a really nice 11-pound walleye. So that's a great way to start the season.
This is one of the best seasons we've had on record. Merry Christmas.
Hi, welcome back to Dialed In Angling. This week we are chasing down schools of perch, utilizing underwater technology not only to find these fish, but then to set up and catch them. What I love about underwater cameras is it really helps you get dialed into the bite very quickly. It paints the best possible picture of what's going on down there. I like to have several rods rigged up. I love to do tons of experimentation with these fish on camera to see what my best presentation is for that particular day. So I've started with a rattle and roach spoon. I typically will start with a spoon or a jigging wrap, something that's really heavy that I can get down there. I like that rattle and roach spoon because it's got that dressed marabou treble hook. That way I don't have to worry about bait when it's cold out. But I have some other presentations rigged up as well. One of my real go-tos would have to be like a rip and wrap or a rattle and wrap or even a slab wrap, something in that horizontal presentation. You know, these fish feed a lot on young of the year perch. They're also eating crayfish off the bottom. That rattle chamber will call them into your location. If they come in and they're really finicky or they're really docile, which perch can be, I'll downsize to something like this. This is the brand new roach jig. It still has that marabou hair. It's got a heavy tungsten jig head on it, and I can drop that presentation down. It falls pretty quickly. I can tip it with a wax worm or a minnow head. I can beat the silt with that tungsten, and that marabou just comes alive, as you know, like on the spoon. It's real lifelike. It looks like what they're feeding in the water column. So a lot of times if these big jumbos are coming in, they won't hit my spoon or my horizontal presentation. I'll go straight to that roach jig and it drives them nuts. It's like kryptonite, man. That's what I love about that. It looks exactly like what they're feeding on. Oh, that lifelike tail on there. It's just beautiful. Wow, this guy avoided death here. Look at that. Big pike or muskie almost had him. Get that one back in. What a nice fish. But yeah, like I was saying, that that tail on there, that marabou tail, they love it. But there's times where they won't hit that spoon. You can draw them in sometimes on a spoon or a rattle bait. If they won't strike it, boom, I'll just downsize right to this tungsten and they can't resist it, especially with that tail on that roach jig. So my viewing setup's pretty simple. I like to have my handheld camera up high. I don't like it on the ground, especially when it's a small viewing screen. So I'll put it on the Smart Hub clamp and I'll actually screw it into the clamp and have it up high so I don't have to view downward. I still rely on my sonar in my jigging hole. That way if I come outside the camera viewing area, or if a fish is chasing it up, or sometimes they're up in the water column, I can chase those fish and I don't lose that at all. And then of course, if you flash forward over to where I have a dead stick here, again, it's just on a rod holder. These Smart Hubs clamp right onto the poles so I can move it anywhere I want in the house, but I can still see my dead stick and my jig on the camera. It's a real simple, easy setup. It's also easy to move, so I like to be able to move quickly. These perch move so fast. You'll move in an area, you'll catch a few, and they're gone. I want to be able to chase them and chase them quickly.
Dialed In Angling, brought to you by Onyx Fish, Marcum Technologies, iFish Pro Tip Up, Heat Hog, and by Otter Outdoors.
Hey, welcome back to Dialed In Angling. We are smashing perch today using underwater camera technology, not only to find the fish, but to catch the fish. Using underwater cameras is so amazing. There's cameras that you can record, they record in HD, just really, really fun, and perch fishing is super conducive to using those cameras to catch these fish. There's a lot of different cameras out there, you know, obviously different size screens, different recording capabilities. I'm using a camera that I can stay mobile with today. I've put it on the Rapala Smart Hub. It clamps right to the bar of the shack here, so I can put this thing in position. But then if I want to move, or if I want to go look for more fish, I opt to use this handheld version. That way I can wind up the cord really quickly. I can run outside, I can go check for fish, looking for those perch, and then as soon as I find them, boom, we just move right back into place. I can snap this camera back into place and I'm fishing. And my setup here is set up to be mobile, but if you're set up and you don't want to move, let's say it's extremely cold outside, or you know your setup's just not conducive to staying on the move that quickly, I'll just do what I did in the beginning. I'll just grab my spoon, grab electronics, hop outside the house, fish outside the house for a little bit, and then as soon as I get cold, just move right back in the house and see if those fish will cruise back through this area. Oh, now that is a nice perch anywhere you go. What a beauty. That's why perch are my favorite. They're so exciting. You can catch them on underwater cameras. You hop outside, you find these big schools of these toad bellies. They're fast action. They're fun to catch. Doesn't matter if it's 20 below, these things are biting. Oh, let me get this girl back in. Now this is definitely where I'm gonna move the house. My next move is gonna be right here. I literally drop down, watch that Christmas tree come soaring off the bottom, catching that big toad. Oh, the perch are fun. Oh, another giant toad belly. That's why jumbo perch fishing is one of my favorite things to do all winter long, especially when you talk about using underwater cameras. It's some of the funnest fishing you can have all winter. You know, when it comes to the realm of technology in today's world, I think underwater cameras are getting underutilized. They shouldn't be. If you're gonna chase perch, grab an underwater camera. You're gonna learn a lot. You're gonna find out a lot about what this species does underneath the ice, and you're gonna have a lot of fun doing it. Hopefully, I showed you how I go about using underwater cameras to help you get dialed in.